Nikon eclipses the competition, guys. Eclipses. Today's the eclipse. That's kind of corny. Just run with it.
3, 2, 1, 0.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the vlog. So, Nikon is in the news again. The rumor mill is churning and churning, and the rumors are out there. I'm telling you, they're leaking like an Italian colander on Sunday. And I'm Italian, I know. It is unbelievable how many specs keep coming out and images and leaking this and leaking that. Either something is just wrong over there, or this is all done on purpose and they're doing a great job. I don't know what the answer is, but for us it's good because now we know, or kind of know, what is coming. And this camera looks absolutely amazing. I think that if these rumors are correct and these specs are correct, the D850 can single-handedly save Nikon. Did I say that? I think I did. Yeah, I think so. I think so. They've been having a lot of hard times. For the last year, you have like recall after recall after recall, couple of recalls, I think 3, 4. And of course you had all the layoffs. 1,500 people relegated. You have early retirements. You have just problems over there. And this camera, if these specs are correct, can solve all these problems, in my personal opinion, because these specs hit right across the broad spectrum of photographers. They look amazing. So let's get into the specs. 46 megapixels, as we already know. ISO goes from 64 to 25,000. You also have a 3.2-inch touch panel back screen, 153 points of autofocus. Very, very nice. Now they're saying that we're having 30% more coverage than its predecessor, which is great. That is fantastic. That means that those autofocus points are going to go across almost the entire frame. Just like the Sony A9, where it's doing full coverage, they're doing something similar. They're also saying that the autofocus points, let's say instead of being this big, they're maybe a quarter of the size or a third of the size. So they're going to be smaller and more accurate. That is awesome. Obviously, if you're doing, let's say, macro work or something that is really critical that you want to get focused to a specific spot, let's say you're doing a picture of a portrait and you want to get the tip of the eyelashes sharp in comparison to the ear or the tip of the ear, you can really get in there and get your focus dead on. That is fantastic. Next, you have built-in Bluetooth as well as Wi-Fi. What they did cut out is the GPS. Now, do pros like GPS? Well, I guess if you're doing landscape stuff or if you're out and about continuously moving from location to location, GPS is pretty good. Now, they're not putting it in there. I'm going to think it has something to do with weight. I don't really know, but supposedly no GPS. That's all right. Next, you have frames per second. They're saying it's going to shoot up to 9 frames per second, but there's a caveat here, guys. If you do not have the extra battery grip, all right, it will not. You're only going to get 7 frames per second. Now, what that means is you're going to not only pay for the body, but to get 9 frames per second, you're going to pay for a battery grip. So it's going to increase the price, but it is what it is. What Nikon does differently than Canon is, well, when Canon has a second battery, what it does is it uses the batteries separately. So when one battery is done, the next battery picks up, so you extend the number of photos that you can take. Nikon does it differently. If you put 2 batteries in it, it uses 2 batteries of juice. What that means is more juice, faster writes, that means more frames per second, which is why you're getting from 7 frames all the way up to 9 frames per second. Really nice. I do like that. Next, they say it's going to be able to shoot 51 raw images at 14-bit in a row, continuously, all right, before buffering. That is amazing. If you think about this 46 megapixel camera, you're looking at probably close to 80 megabytes per image. 80 megabytes times 51, 4,080 or so, somewhere on there. Let's call it 4 gigs of data before it has to buffer. That is amazing, guys. That is amazing. That gets into what is it writing it out to. They're saying that it's going to have 2 slots. One is an XQD and the other one is an SD, but the SD is a UHS-2. So it's going to be super fast. That's awesome. Next, anti-aliasing. Gone. No more AA filter. What is an AA filter good for anyways, right? Well, it's for moire, all right? It But the problem is, yes, you might reduce some moire. Let's say you're doing something that's coming in. You're shooting a picture and there's sunlight coming through a tree and you get all of this fringing, this color fringing around the leaves. Yeah, the AA filter will fix that, let's say. But there's a side effect to it. Most of the time, an AA filter will cause less sharp images. That to me means this camera will be sharper than its predecessor and predecessor before that, and all the other cameras out there right now that have AA filters, okay? So they're probably gonna be doing it after the fact, in post or internal to the camera to fix any type of moire that's happening. Next, focus stacking. What that means is, if you're, let's say, a product photographer and you're shooting a cake, and you know that you want the front of the cake sharp and you want the back of the cake sharp, but everything after it needs to be buttery, right? So what do? You need to focus stack, because you're not going to shoot at f22 and then reduce the quality image. You're going to shoot at f8, f11, and you're going to focus stack. So you're going to get the beginning at the very front sharp, and then you're going to take sequential images and then put them all together in post. Supposedly this camera is going to do that for you. So product photographers are going to love it. And let's say if you're a macro guy, you're going to love it also. Next, this is where things get pretty cool, guys. They're saying it's going to have a fully silent electronic shutter that's going to be doing up to 6 frames per second. I'll take 6 frames per second all day long in a temple or in a church or maybe on a golf course and not have clack, 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 clack going on, right? That is awesome, guys. That's 6 frames per second, but just silent with that built-in electronic shutter. I like that. I like that a lot, and a lot of folks will also. Next, 8K time lapse. Is that a big deal? No. Of course, it's a 46 megapixel camera. It's going to do 8K. But they have to put 8K in there just because of the, people say, oh, it's an 8K camera. No, it's just taking pictures and then putting them together after the fact. So there's your 8K time lapse. Next, now this is really important, guys. It's video capability. It's going to shoot 4K Ultra HD in FX format. That's not crop, guys, like everyone else. That means it's not cropping in to get that 4K. That's full frame coverage at 4K. 30 frames per second, I'm going to guess. That is awesome. But what's also awesome, we've been asking Canon for this forever, and they've been sitting on their laurels or sitting on something for a long time. 120 frames per second slow-mo at 1080p. That is great. That is unbelievably great. Canon has just not been able to do it, or they just don't want to do it. And in their 5D or any of their cameras, unless you're spending just crazy money, they're not giving that to us. And here they are with this Nikon D850. A lot of people are going to be stoked about it. I know I am. It will also not have an electronic viewfinder or a hybrid. It'll just be a standard prism. That's okay with me. And it will have back illuminated buttons. That is fantastic if you shoot in low light situations. Let's say in the dark, in a church or somewhere, you can see your buttons without having to pull out a small light to be able to see them, or maybe your phone like I do all the time. Now, all in all, 3,600 is what it converts to when we take a look at yen to US. It comes to about $3,600. Bear in mind, if you want your 9 frames per second, you're going to be paying extra. I'm going to say maybe $300-400. You're going to get to close to $4,000 for this. Is it worth it? Absolutely, guys. Nikon is crushing it right now. They are crushing it. If these specs are correct, they will just absolutely crush. All right, that's it. End of story. This will be that one camera that saves the company, that brings the fanboys from all the way, from far and wide, to just sing the praises of Nikon. And you know what? As a Canon guy, they should, because Canon do not have these specs. Canon guys are probably going to be like me, like, why? Why can I not have 1080p? Why can I not have 1080p slow-mo at 120 frames per second? Why? Why can't I have full frame coverage at 4K? Why? Why can't I have this? You know what I mean. So, what do I think about this camera? If these rumors are correct, it is, like I said, an unbelievable camera that people will move and migrate to Nikon who've been migrating away. People that are first-time buyers will now look at Nikon and kind of look away and say, oh, I don't know about all those recalls. I don't know about all those layoffs. I'm going to go Nikon because this camera is crushing it. So That's my personal opinion, guys. What is your opinion? What do you think about this? August 21st is today. It is the eclipse day. The 24th is when they're saying that this is going to be announced. That means in probably a month, it's usually a month after announcement, that we'll actually see them out and about in a while. So, what do you guys think? Do you think that this camera will be unbelievable? Do you think these specs are true? Do you think Nikon is just putting something over on us? What do you think? I don't know, but I want to see what your thoughts are in the comments below. Let me know. Let's discuss it. Let's have that discussion because this is really interesting. Like I said, I'm not a fanboy one way or another. I shoot everything. I'm a Canon guy, but I'll shoot Nikon, I'll shoot Sony. A lot of times I'm shooting Hasselblad for my fashion stuff. I don't care what it is. I love it all. I'm a photography junkie. All right, guys. So like I said, tell me what you think in the comments below. As always, if you enjoy my content, throw me a thumbs up. I would really, really appreciate it. Smash that subscribe button so that you can get all of my crazy nonsense when it becomes available. And finally, head over to my website, JCristina.com, where you can find a lot of photography tools I've invented for photographers just like you. That's it, guys, for yet another vlog. Get out there and put on your glasses and go check out this solar eclipse today. That's it. We'll see you later. Take care.